Hello, my name is Michelle from Capsule Closet Stylist. I help men and women all over the world build curated capsule wardrobes that suit them and their lifestyle. So today I wanted to talk to the stay-at-home mums. How do you build a capsule wardrobe that suits you and your lifestyle, considering most of the time you're chasing around after kids and don't have a lot of time to think about yourself? So let's get started. Now, the first thing you want to consider, which might seem like quite an obvious one, but what is the environment like where you live? You know, what's the temperature like? What does the weather tend to do? If you live in a seasonal environment, then obviously you need to kind of build your capsule wardrobe around that environment, or pick which season you're going to actually do your capsule wardrobe for. Now, most people will build, if they live in a seasonal environment, they'll build one for spring, summer and one for autumn, winter. But if you want to, you can have something that crosses over the whole year, or you can split it up into four. Although I think splitting it up into four will make it much more complicated, because usually if you build a capsule wardrobe for spring, summer, and then you build one for autumn, winter, there are items that transition through to both. So that's the first thing. Consider the environment you live in. What do you need? How do you need your clothes to perform within that environment? Do you need them to protect you from the elements? You know, do you need something that's going to keep you warm? Do you need something that's going to keep you dry? Do you need something that's going to keep you cool? Do you need something that's going to keep the sun rays off you, you know, stop you from burning? So consider those elements first before you consider anything else. Now, the next thing, and I think this is probably the most important area that you need to look at, what makes you feel good? Now, forget what Fanny down the road likes, or what your partner likes, or what your kids think you should wear. What makes you feel good? And this is so important. The reason why it's so important is because when we're concentrating on bringing up kids, more often than not, we forget about ourselves. And that's not good for you. You need to think about you. So I want you, more than anything, if you're sat here listening to this now, think about what feels good on you. You know, what physically feels good. You know, what fabrics feel good on you. What feels luxurious. What makes you feel good. What makes you feel like you look good. Forget anybody else. What makes you feel like you look good? You know, is there a certain type of brand that you like? Is there a certain type of style that you like? You know, don't forget that, because you do have to look at the practicalities, which we're going to look at next, but you also want to look at your own self-esteem and how you feel, because that's really, really important, because if you're not happy, then your kids aren't going to be happy. So what makes you feel good? Is it a certain type of colour? Is it a certain type of style? Is it a certain type of brand? Write that down and really think about that, and use that as the basis of what you're going to do when we go into the rest of it. Now, next, on a more practical looking sense, what do you do on a weekly basis? Now, do you take the kids to some sort of a play group? Do you have to take them to school? Do you go to a yoga class? Do you get on the floor and paint with the kids, or do you bake with them regularly, or do you tend the garden, or do you go to school events? You know, what do you do on a weekly basis, and what do you need for those times? You know, can that plaid shirt that you've had for a few years work for when you're painting on the floor with the kids, and also work for when you're out in the garden, you know, pulling mud around or going for a walk with the kids and the dog? You know, have a think about what you need and how your clothes need to serve your needs and your activities and your lifestyle. So think in a very, very practical sense, you know, what you need from your clothes. How can they serve you? And can they serve dual purposes as well? Another question is, if you are getting really, really dirty, like with mud or paint or whatever else, then you likely need darker shades. Tend to go for something that's washable. Don't go for dry cleaning, because that will cost you an absolute fortune, probably more than what the garment is worth. Go for darker shades that are easily machine washable, and if anything, have a couple of options of them if you really, really do use them a lot. Do you go on a date night occasionally, or do you go out for lunch with the girls, or do you go out for a night with the girls? What do you want for those occasions? Do you want something that's more dressy? Obviously, you're unlikely to wear when you go out like that than what you wear when you're sat on the floor with the kids. So don't forget those items either. It's really important that you think about yourself and you and your needs, you know, to go out on date nights, to see your friends, etc., etc. What do you want for those occasions and what works well for you? Just as a general rule in regards to colour, black doesn't suit everybody, and actually that really sharp bright white doesn't suit everybody. If you're not sure what colours suit you, then go for a navy blue or a charcoal grey. You know, hold the colours up against your face. If it looks like they wash you out, then the likelihood is they don't. Or go for off-white rather than that really bright sharp white if you're going to go for those. So navy blue, charcoal grey, stone, think the trench colour, trench coat colour, that works really well, and bright red tends to work for everybody as well, and that kind of off-white. So bottle green's another one that works really well. So if you're not sure what colours suit you, hold them up against your face and see whether it washes you out. And there's another little rule, a general kind of rule. If you've got warmer skin, then go for warmer shades. If you've got cooler skin, go for cooler shades. If you're not sure, look at the inside of your wrist. If your veins look blue, you'll tend to be cooler shades. If your veins look green, then you tend to go for warmer shades. If you still need help with that, head over to the website at capsuleclosetstylist.com, click on personal styling services at the top, and you'll find a section where I offer colour analysis, because you can identify exactly what colours do suit you. Now, another area that's really, really obvious when you're a mum is time. Like I said earlier, you have such little time for yourself, even deciding what to wear or how you're going to put an outfit together. So you tend to go for the same things over and over again. Now, a really simple and easy way to actually make that time easier but still have an outfit that looks cohesive, if you like, is to minimise your colours. Now, when I work one-on-one with private clients, I always advise them to choose no more than 7 or 8 colours, preferably 7 colours. Now, if you want less than that, you can go with less than that. But the reason why I say for you to limit it, particularly initially, is because it's much easier to mix and match outfits if you've got a limited palette of colours. So we usually go for what I call canvas colours and paint colours. Now, your canvas colours are your more neutral tones, things like charcoal grey, navy blue, black, white, grey, beige, stone, those kind of shades. Now, the reason I call them the canvas colours, if you can imagine a plain canvas, that is the background. So that's the vast majority of your outfit, is those canvas colours. And then your paint colours are what you paint on top. So they could be a bit of bright red, a bright pink, they could be yellow, they could be, you know, anything like a jade green, you know, anything like that that's got a little bit more oomph to it. Now, there's no reason why, if you prefer brighter colours or if you prefer neutral tones, that you can't go for the whole lot. But what I will tell you, the more neutral tones tend to mix with other colours a lot better than the brighter shades do. So I would have kind of pretty much half-half, say 3 or 4 neutral and 3 or 4 brighter colours, or even majority neutral and then just a couple of brighter colours on top. And it's much easier then if you then from now onwards choose the colours that you're going to pick, and actually then whenever you buy something you choose it in that colour. It will slot into your wardrobe, and it means that time in the morning when you're getting dressed and you've just got no time to even think about yourself, you will be able to pick outfits out much quicker, because you can go, right, I know that goes with that and that goes with that, boom, 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 and immediately it looks cohesive straight away. If you've chosen colours that mix and match with each other before you've even started, then that wardrobe will start to build into something that's really easy to use. Now, finally, if there's an area of your body that you feel uncomfortable with, and let's face it, for the vast majority of us, when we've had kids, our bodies change. Now, the chances are, I know this from previous experience with private clients, chances are, however you view your body and whatever areas of it you don't like aren't as bad as what you think they are. The vast majority of private clients that come to me after they've had children will say, oh, you know, it's all like this and they're all a bit like this, and they feel a bit conscious about certain areas. And the vast majority of the time, They are exactly the same body shape as they were before they had kids. They're just a slightly different version of it. So it's really, really helpful to identify what body shape you are, because then what you can do is use clothes to enhance your bust features and skim over the areas you're not so happy about. Again, if you're not sure what body shape you are, go to capsuleclothingstylist.com, and there's a section there under personal styling services where I identify your body shape and give you visuals, literally with links, clothes with links, as to styles that will suit you, and also the styles to avoid. But as a kind of general rule, if you know what body shape you are, or you have an idea of what body shape you are, choose darker colours on areas you want to skim over, and lighter colours or patterns or anything with a kind of shine in it, or a silk or like a sateen in it, in areas that you want to enhance. So don't wear a pink sequin skirt that's fitted on an area that you want to hide. Another big tip that I can give you, and that the mistake that a lot of women make when they come to me, is they drown out any area they're not comfortable with. And what I mean by that is, so let's say for example you're a little bit conscious about your tummy. The worst thing you can do is wear a top that comes off your bust and kind of hangs straight down, because you think, oh well, that hides my tummy, then I don't have to look at it. No, what it does, it just makes this more material, adds more bulk to your body. So choose something that just skims that area. Now, a good way to do that is with a princess line, which comes underneath the bust like that, and then gently skims down if it is the tummy that you're conscious about. So a line that comes under there. The reason why I say that is because that line underneath your bust is the smallest area. Regardless of anything else, if your tummy's you're a bit conscious about your tummy, you're bringing it in under your bust. So you're creating definition under your bust, and then it kind of comes out and skims over that top of your tummy. That's a really good way of hiding those areas. And don't have anything that's really fitted or tries and pulls you up, but also adds loads of bulk, because the more bulk and the more material you add, the bigger you're going to look. So try and go for something which generally, if you think about the kind of tea dress shape, that works with really well for most people. That 1940s classic dress shape. Have a look at that up. Don't look on Google or Amazon. I've said 1,000 times before, there are absolute monstrosities that come up when you Google it. Most of them are not that tea dress shape, so don't do that. But just look for the classic 1940s tea dress shape. It tends to skim at the top, skim at the bottom, comes out with a slight A-line. So yes, choose darker colours in matte block colours for anything you want to cover up, and anything that you want to enhance, choose a bit of shimmer. And that can also include anything that's satin, and obviously silk or velour or anything like that will pick up the light. Like even a velvet will pick up the light. If you think about a velvet, you can see the shape where the light's catching it. You can see where it's catching it, and that will do that on the lumps and bumps of your body as well. So avoid anything that catches the light. Keep it in those matte kind of cottons, very good for anything you want to slightly cover up. So I hope you found that helpful. One of the best tips that I can give you is, because I've been there myself, is really think about you and your identity, and just make sure you incorporate that into your wardrobe, because it's really important when you become a mum that you still look after yourself and you still think about you and how you feel, because it's so easy to just get caught up in worrying about everybody else that you can forget about yourself, and at some point that kind of comes back and bites you on the bum because you start to feel a little bit down about yourself. So make sure that it's about you. Limit your colours, find out what your body shape is, find out what colours suit you as well, because if you know what colours suit you, you can then use those colours as a palette for your wardrobe. And then after that, it's just a case of then adding things in which suit the environment you live in, your lifestyle, and what you do on a weekly basis. And then if you do need to add anything at a later date, it's relatively easy because you can choose it from that palette and that style that you know that suits you. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any ideas about other videos you'd like to see in the future, by all means, comment below and let me know, and I'll add it to my list. more than happy to do that. And subscribe for more videos on capsule wardrobes and style and body shapes and colouring and everything else. And have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.